Hello guys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Kook Shed, where we share surf tips, advice, surfboard reviews, bodyboard reviews, just any sort of information that I think you might find helpful. It's for beginners, everyday surfers, experienced riders. Hopefully some of this information will be valuable to a broad spectrum of surfers and help make your life a little bit easier and make surfing more enjoyable, and that's what it's all about. So today we're going to talk about the humble surf tub, surf bucket I might call it. Now these have become quite easy to come across these days. You can pick them up for a couple of bucks. Back in the day I used to use like a polystyrene box or an old fishing, a big fishing tub, but that had little holes in the bottom. So these are much better, and they're cheap, easy to come across, and they're available in a wide range of colours depending on what you like. And I highly recommend that you get one if you haven't already, because they make your surfing life much easier. So they don't have drainage holes in the bottom, so water won't leak from your wetsuit into the back of the car, or onto a floor where you might put it, that sort of thing, because salt water can damage things. So yeah, it's really handy. They're available in a wide variety of sizes as well, so pick one that's going to suit your needs. I usually just get a medium size one, not too big and not too small. It seems to hold everything I need: flippers, a wetsuit or two, and some other odds and ends that I use. So just consider what you're going to need to carry with the surf tub or surf bucket, whatever you want to call it. This is a sort of squarish shaped one. You can get the round ones as well, but I find the square bottom ones, they don't pinch in as much because they've got a different shape on the bottom. The circular ones sort of will pinch in a lot more sometimes, and that just doesn't suit what I need. So I just got a square bottom one. Yeah, if you get a big size one, just keep in mind that if you're taking it out of the car to walk down to the beach, they can be quite cumbersome. If they're full of gear, they can be quite heavy as well. So I limit mine to a medium. That way I just carry what I need that doesn't get too heavy, and it still remains convenient. Because if you're walking down, long bush tracks and things like that, with this full of gear, they can be quite heavy. If you need to walk a long way with your surf bucket, maybe consider getting a waterproof backpack of some type instead, because if you're carrying this in one hand, it can put a bit of pressure on your spine over a long period of time, especially if you've got one or two wetsuits in there. They can really pull your spine out of kilter if you're walking a long way. So that's one thing to think about. Like if I've got a wetsuit in there and I'm walking back, I'll put my bodyboard under one arm. I'll even take the flippers out and carry the flippers with the board, and this is just for the wetsuits and the other stuff. And that's sort of adding the flippers to the other side sort of counteracts the weight of the box. So that's just something to consider. If you're going really long distances, like a 3 to 5k walk into a surf spot, well then maybe get a backpack or something like that. I've found, like, if you've got a surfboard and you've got to carry your wetsuit, well then these can come in really handy, because of carrying a wetsuit back. I've even put them over my shoulders, wrapped in a towel and stuff, but they still drip. They still can flap around and fall off if you've got to walk up cliffs or things like that. So yeah, these can be handy for that situation. Some people might like to put their stuff in the pocket on a bodyboard bag, but I find they've got that mesh at the bottom which is designed to drain water out, which is great, but if you're walking with it on your back, so the water just falls down on the back of you, and yeah, it's just not for me. So these are great. They've got the built-in handles, and for a couple of bucks you can't go wrong. Just keep one in your car or whatever. But you also need to take care of them. They're not going to last forever. So you know, don't throw them around. Don't leave them in the sun for too long. Sunlight and UV light's going to perish the plastic over time. And you know, putting them on sharp rocks, you might get a cut or something, or in the back of your car there might be a sharp tool or something that that might cut into the plastic. So just be aware of that. And they might crack along there, along the bottom edge where the bottom meets the wall, and then it will start leaking into your car or wherever, and it sort of doesn't function as it used to. So you know, I'm not going to encourage you to just keep buying more. Try and keep the one you've got in good condition by just looking after it. One thing you will need to do is empty it out every now and then. I found that water from wetsuits and board shorts and flippers and stuff can hang in the bottom, and you can get quite a, if you're surfing regularly every day like I try to, you can get quite a lot of water in the bottom, and if you've got like a spare leash in the bottom, that salt water can really mess with the swivels and start to rust them and things like that. It can make, you know, board shorts or spare wetsuits in the bottom go all, yeah, not so good. So drain the water out every now and then, and you'll find a lot of sand gets in there as well. So yeah, every now and then take it out of the car or whatever, and yeah, give it a clean, rinse it out, and that should solve that problem. That's all you've got to do. Just stay a bit vigilant on how much crap accumulates in the bottom, and just empty it out regularly. You'll get little bits of surf wax sometimes in the bottom, and yeah, all sorts of stuff. So just clean it out. Now, another tip that I want to share is this little bag. So I've just got, what I've got is a pocket from the inside of an old board bag, surfboard bag, and I've ripped out the pocket because I rarely use that pocket to store things. So I've ripped it out of the lining of a board bag because it's a good material to use. It doesn't seem to stay wet for long. You know, they've put this material in a surfboard bag because of the reason that you're putting a wet board in and out and things. So this material is pretty good. It dries quickly and it's quite tough. So all I've done is got one of the inner pockets out of an old board bag. If you don't have an old board bag, or you don't want to cut up your board bag and cut this pocket out, sometimes on, I don't know if you have them where you are, but a lot of shires have a council clean-up day where people put out their old useless stuff, broken things, and sometimes people put out old board bags, the zipper's not working anymore, or it's got big holes in it or something. So I actually just got this one out of a board bag, an old board bag that I've picked up from one of those piles. Someone's thrown out their board bag, and so I didn't hack into a nice new board bag to get it. So it's got little Velcro tabs on the inside, and so it can seal up like that. And all I've done is get a bit of nice strong cord, and I've pierced it through. I think I just got a got some scissors or something, and I just pierced it through the Velcro tab so that it's got a bit of a thicker edge around the cord, not through this material, because it'll start to rip. The hole will get bigger and bigger. So what I've done is I've just pierced that little pad there, the Velcro pad, and threaded through some of this tough cord, wrapped it around tied it around the handle, and so now I use that for, I just keep it on the inside there, and I put my wax and zinc in it. I use wax and zinc every time I surf. So I found that keeping my wax in the bottom, these boxes or buckets, the wax gets sandy and gets all sorts of things stuck on it from being in the bottom, and same with the zinc as well. And it can be hard to find if you're in a hurry. If you're running to get out to the surf and you quickly need to find your wax or your zinc or whatever you keep in there, all the other stuff in the box that you're not using that surf can get in the way, and when the surf's good, you don't want to waste time. So I just found keeping it up, sort of up out of the bucket where you can find it quickly, saves you a lot of time and effort. And if you just remember to put your wax and whatever back in the bag when you finish using it, you always know where it is. It takes seconds to grab. You don't have to fish through old wetties and other flippers or whatever you got in there to use it. So yeah, that's about it. Hopefully this was helpful to you in some way. If you've got another surf bucket tip, or if there's something else you use to do this job that you think might be handy for me and for others, let us know in the comments. I'd be interested to hear and learn. So if it was helpful to you, hit like. If you've got questions, or if there's something I've forgotten, like I sometimes do, leave a comment, leave a question in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And if you like this sort of tip and you want to hear more things I come up with that might be helpful to you in the future, whether you're a surfer or bodyboarder or whatever, hit subscribe, and I'll see you next time here on Kook Shed. Thanks for dropping in. Catch ya.